do you know Greater Cincinnati? In this morning's Business Insight, a new book called Walking Cincinnati offers 32 tours of historic neighborhoods and hidden treasures in the Queen City. The authors are Danny Corman and Katie Meyer, and they're with Business Watch producer Kelly Leon in the studio. Danny, Katie, and Kelly.
Thanks, and Katie, Danny, thank you so much for being here this morning. It's so fun to have you. Full disclosure, this is not going to be an objective interview. I absolutely love this book. It's like I'm like a tourist in Cincinnati walking around the neighborhoods holding my little book. People think, who is that crazy lady? Tell me where the idea came from. How did you two get together to write the book?
Well, thanks for having us. We're very happy to be here. We were actually both approached by Richard Hunt, who's the owner of Wilderness Press, a local publishing company, about basically because of our sort of relationships in our communities to pull that together and write this book for him and for the company.
And the neighborhoods, like I know the one I did in Oakley, there's this little path down a side street that I'd never been down, and I went down. And I mean, how did you find all of that?
Right. Which street was that, or do you remember?
It was off, I think, Ameliamont.
Ameliamont, yeah.
In that little path down to the Oakley Community Center.
Right. Well, we approached the book in different ways, but that path that you're talking about in particular, I actually, because I wrote the Oakley Walk, I found that one through the Walking the Steps of Cincinnati book,
oh, okay.
which is in its second edition right now. I actually didn't know about those steps either until I came across that book.
So are both of you from Cincinnati? Did you have a familiarity with some of the neighborhoods already?
I grew up in Covington.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm from Cincinnati, originally grew up on the west side, ended up on the east side.
West side.
That's right.
Yeah. Me too.
You did? Where?
Oh, we'll talk about that later.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm excited to do the Price Hill walks. I haven't done those yet. So the other thing I noticed about the chapters is each of the neighborhoods seems to have a business district, which I love. Was that part of your intent to highlight the business districts?
Yeah, actually one of the first things we did to determine what walks we were going to do was sit down with Margot Warminski from Cincinnati Preservation Association just to kind of lay out the land and see what areas we were going to focus on. And it just so turns out that most of the communities do have a business district. East Walnut Hills, Mount Lookout, Oakley, which you just mentioned, Hyde Park Square, and then of course all the business districts in Covington and Newport.
So what are your favorites?
My favorite is definitely the first walk in the book, which is the River Walk. It gives you a little bit of Cincinnati, some Newport and Covington, and then the bridges, the Purple People Bridge and the Roebling Bridge, and it just really is exposure to, I think, some of the more beautiful views and diverse sort of surroundings that we have in the region.
My favorite tends to change depending on the day and who's asking you the question. But as I mentioned to someone last week, I'm really drawn to the three planned communities: Glendale, Green Hills, and Marymount. I spent a lot of time in all three of those neighborhoods.
I did the Marymount. I haven't done the other two yet, but I will get to those. And talk a little bit about the publisher. You used a local publisher for the book, is that right?
That's right, yeah. Wilderness Press, it's part of, there are multiple publishing companies, but they're all working out of the second floor of Roebling Point Books and Coffee at 3rd and Green up in Covington. And they have a series, they do a lot around adventure tourism, eco-tourism. They do the 50 Hikes book and
60 hikes within 60 miles.
60 hikes in 60 miles. And this book is part of a series. So there's a Walking Chicago, for example, and a Walking Brooklyn, and so we, now have a Walking Cincinnati.
That's awesome. Do you think that the book will maybe inspire some of the business districts to, I don't know, do more? Do some of the businesses cater to some of the walkers? Have you heard any stories about that?
Well, one thing we have heard is there's a lot of enthusiasm from the businesses that are carrying the book. Including Joseph Beth, bookseller. We were there recently for a discussion and a book signing.
Nice.
And one of the women there who handles our marketing just had to tell us how excited she was to have that book in the shop because it's so easy to sell the book
and
to
it's
both
also
locals.
Available at another store I know of that you might be familiar with.
What store is that?
A store in Over the Rhine.
Yeah, it's actually available at Park and Vine.
Park and Vine.
At 12th and Main. And actually, I just looked at our numbers the other day, and we've passed 300 sales in books, and the book came out in early April.
That's fantastic. Well, thank you guys so much for being here. Again, the book is Walking Cincinnati. Pick it up if you see it. It's just awesome. It's such a great celebration of all of our neighborhoods, no matter if you're a West Sider or an East Sider or across the river. So, thanks, guys.
Thanks, Kelly.
Thank you.